The galaxy had learned to fear the dark between stars, not because of empty space, but because something lived there that listened. Nyxara Velshi did not travel like other rulers. There were no fleets around her, no shining banners, no loud broadcasts of power. She moved alone, wrapped in a living ship grown from void organic crystal, silent and patient. Where she passed, civilizations changed. Some vanished. Some survived, but never the same. She was called many names: the Eternal Queen, the Night Sovereign, the Star Vampire. Her kind did not drink blood. Blood was a crude thing tied to weak bodies. The Virelians fed on resonance, the invisible pulse of life that connected thought, emotion, and identity. Strong minds burned brighter. Whole worlds were farms if ruled correctly. For over 10,000 cycles, Nyxara ruled without challenge, until Earth appeared on the maps. Humanity was late to everything. They arrived in galactic space with noisy engines, patched technology, and a strange habit of talking too much. Their ships were functional but ugly. Their weapons were powerful but inefficient. Their politics were loud, divided, and confusing. The galactic councils watched them with mild interest and mild worry. Nyxara watched them with hunger. Humans spread fast. They did not wait for permission. They did not ask for approval. They settled harsh worlds that others ignored. They argued with stronger species and sometimes won not through force but stubbornness. Most interesting of all, their life force resonance was flat, not weak, just different. Nyxara felt it the first time she drew near their system. The resonance of most species sang to her senses like music. Each civilization had a rhythm, a taste, a hierarchy she could feel before ever arriving. Humanity had none. Their resonance was chaotic, individual, overlapping in strange ways. No central harmony, no clear alpha signal. It bothered her. That alone was enough reason to visit. Earth was loud. Its orbital space was filled with traffic, signals, old satellites, new stations, and far too many broadcasts. Music spilled into space. News signals contradicted each other. Advertisements argued with political messages. Nyxara's ship slipped through it all unseen. She descended toward the planet slowly, allowing her presence to be felt. The skies darkened above one continent. Clouds twisted unnaturally. Power grids flickered. Animals fell silent. Humans noticed. They always did. Panic spread through governments. Militaries scrambled. Scientists argued. Religions prayed. Social networks exploded with theories, jokes, fear, and denial. Nyxara hovered above the planet, tasting the noise. Still no hierarchy. Still no submission signal. Interesting. She sent a single message, not in words, but in resonance. A pressure on the mind that usually forced leaders to kneel before they even understood why. It reached Earth and broke apart. The signal shattered into millions of small reactions: fear, anger, curiosity, humor, defiance. Some humans felt the pressure and resisted. Some ignored it completely. Some joked about aliens finally showing up. Nyxara felt something she had not felt in centuries: confusion. This was not possible. She selected a landing zone near one of their political centers, a place dense with power structures and authority. Her ship unfolded like a dark flower and settled gently on the ground, melting stone into glass beneath it. Humans surrounded the area quickly, but not chaotically. There were soldiers, yes, but also medical teams, translators, engineers, and diplomats. They were preparing for many outcomes at once. Nyxara stepped from her ship. She was tall, taller than most humans, her form elegant and sharp. Her skin reflected light like polished obsidian. Her eyes glowed a deep violet, ancient and cold. Her presence bent the air, pulling attention toward her whether it was wanted or not. Several humans fell to their knees without understanding why. Several did not. One man stepped forward. He wore no armor, only a simple dark uniform. No weapons were visible. His hands were open at his sides. His heart beat fast, but his mind was steady. Nyxara felt his resonance clearly. Elia's ward. He was not the strongest mind present, not the smartest, not the most powerful, but he was centered. "I am Elia's ward," he said, his voice amplified but calm. "On behalf of Earth, I welcome you. We don't know who you are yet, but we're willing to talk." Nyxara studied him. No fear submission, no worship, no dominance challenge, just choice. "I am Nyxara Velshi," she said. Her voice did not move air, it moved minds. "Ruler of the Virelian Dominion. Feeder of 1,000 stars." Several humans flinched. Elia's did not. "You're welcome here as a visitor," Elia said, "not a ruler." A ripple passed through Nyxara's senses. No one had spoken to her like that since before she took the throne. "You deny my nature," Nyxara said. "I acknowledge it," Elias replied. "I just don't accept it as authority over us." Behind him, generals tensed. Diplomats held their breath. This was not how first contact was supposed to go. Nyxara felt the urge to dominate rise naturally. A gentle push would bend his will. A stronger one would break it. She reached out. Her power wrapped around Elias' mind like a closing hand, and stopped. Not resisted, stopped. As if there was nothing to grab, Nyxara's eyes narrowed. She increased pressure, feeding instinctively, still nothing. Elias inhaled sharply, feeling something pass over him like a cold wind, but his thoughts remained his own. "That felt uncomfortable," he said honestly. "Please don't do that again." Silence fell. Nyxara withdrew her power slowly. This was impossible. All thinking beings had resonance structures. All minds could be influenced. Even machines responded indirectly through their creators. Humans did not collectively, not cleanly. Their minds were full of walls they built themselves. "You are immune," Nyxara said quietly. Elias shook his head. "No, we just don't work the same way." Nyxara looked past him into the crowd. Some humans were terrified, some were angry, some were fascinated, some were already recording. No single emotional state ruled them. "How do you rule without dominance?" Nyxara asked. Elias smiled faintly. "We argue a lot." That answer made no sense, and yet the planet behind him still stood. Nyxara stepped closer. Soldiers raised weapons. Elias lifted one hand and they stopped. "You command them," Nyxara observed. "They trust me," Elias corrected. "Right now, trust," another strange word. Nyxara circled him slowly. Up close, she could feel his exhaustion, his doubt, his fear. He was not fearless. He was choosing to stand anyway. "Why do you face me?" she asked. "Others hide behind titles and shields." "Because someone has to talk first," Elias said. "And because if you wanted us dead, we already would be." Nyxara considered that. It was true. She could have fed from orbit. Could have drained cities in silence. Could have taken what she wanted without asking. And yet she was here, standing on glassed stone, speaking to one fragile human. For the first time in her long existence, hunger was not the loudest voice in her mind. "What is your function, Elias Ward?" she asked. "I coordinate people," he said simply. "I listen, I decide when I have to." A weak role by galactic standards. And yet, Nyxara turned her gaze to the planet, letting her senses stretch across continents. She felt humans everywhere living loud, fast lives, short-lived, emotional, creative, broken and repaired again and again, so much noise, so much resistance. "This world cannot feed me," Nyxara said. "Not as others do." Elias nodded. "Then maybe don't feed on it." Such a small suggestion, such a radical one. Nyxara looked back at him. "If I stay, your enemies will come." Elias met her eyes. "They were already coming, you just showed up first." Nyxara felt something shift. A queen did not linger. A queen did not negotiate. A queen did not fail to feed, and yet for the first time she felt chosen to choose. "I will remain," Nyxara said at last. "Not as conqueror, not yet." Shock rippled through human leadership channels. Elias exhaled slowly. "Then we'll do our best not to give you a reason to change your mind." Nyxara allowed herself a thin, unfamiliar smile. "See that you don't," she said. Above them, the clouds slowly began to clear. Across the galaxy, ancient powers stirred, sensing a disturbance they did not understand. On Earth, humanity did not kneel. And Nyxara Velshi, vampire queen of the stars, felt hunger give way to curiosity for the first time in 10,000 years. The days after Nyxara Velshi remained on Earth felt unreal to most humans. The world did not end. Cities were not drained. Skies stayed blue. News channels argued nonstop about what should have happened and what might still happen. Some called her a god, some called her a threat, some said it was all fake. Nyxara stayed. Her ship remained where it had landed, surrounded by layers of human security that were more symbolic than practical. She did not try to leave. She did not try to feed. She observed, from a distance at first. She watched humans argue in councils where no one truly ruled. She listened to broadcasts full of disagreement, criticism, humor, and anger. She felt emotions crash against each other without forming a single pattern. It was exhausting. On the third day, she requested to see Elias Ward again. He arrived alone, carrying a small tablet and looking more tired than before. He had not slept well since her arrival. None of them had. "You wish to speak," Elias said. Nyxara studied his posture. He was alert, cautious, but not afraid. His fear existed, but it did not control him. "Yes," she said, "I am attempting to understand your species." Elias smiled weakly. "Good luck." Nyxara tilted her head slightly. "You mock yourself." "We do that a lot," Elias replied. "It helps." That answer stayed with her longer than it should have. They walked together through a secured area near her ship. Scientists observed from behind shields. Soldiers stood ready. Cameras watched every movement. Nyxara ignored them. "Your kind forms bonds strangely," she said. "No psychic imprint, no biological lock, no dominance signal." Elias shrugged. "We choose who matters to us." "Choice is unstable," Nyxara said. "It can be revoked." "Yeah," Elias said. "That's the risk." Risk, another human obsession. Nyxara stopped walking and faced him. "In my empire, bonds are permanent. Once chosen, they cannot be broken." Elias considered that. "That sounds safe and terrible." Nyxara frowned. "Explain." "If you choose wrong," Elias said, "you're trapped forever." Nyxara felt something cold pass through her mind. Her species never spoke of wrong choices. They spoke of hunger and survival and hierarchy. Bonds were tools, permanent tools. For the first time, she wondered how many of her choices had truly been hers. As days passed, Nyxara's presence became a constant pressure on Earth. Markets reacted. Alliances shifted. Old enemies paused, unsure what it meant that a vampire queen stood beside humanity without attacking. In the wider galaxy, panic spread. The ancient conquered watched in disbelief. Species that had paid tribute to Nyxara for centuries could feel her hunger fading. Her feeding cycles stopped. Her influence shifted. This was dangerous. A delegation was formed. They arrived without warning. A fleet of ancient design tore into Earth's space, powerful enough to wipe continents clean. They did not fire. They waited. Nyxara felt them instantly. "They have come for you," Elias said quietly, standing beside her as alarms rang worldwide. "No," Nyxara replied. "They have come for humanity." The delegation demanded a meeting. Nyxara agreed. The chamber chosen was large, open, and reinforced with human engineering and alien materials. Representatives of 3 ancient species appeared as projections and physical forms, their presence heavy with authority. "You have violated the balance," said the lead envoy, a being of light and shifting geometry. "Your hunger maintains order." "My hunger maintained fear," Nyxara replied calmly. "Fear is order," another envoy said. Elias stood silent, listening. "You cannot bond with prey," the envoy continued. "It weakens you, it weakens us all." Nyxara felt the truth of that statement and also its lie. "I did not bond through feeding," she said. "I chose." The word echoed in the chamber like a crack in stone. The envoys turned their attention to Elias. "This human corrupts you," the lead envoy said. "Remove him." Nyxara did not hesitate. "No," the chamber fell silent. Elias felt the weight of countless alien minds focus on him. His heart raced, but he stayed where he was. "You defy ancient law," the envoy said. "I redefine it," Nyxara replied. Threat signals rippled through the fleet above Earth. Elias stepped forward before anyone could stop him. "She didn't force us," he said. "She didn't take anything. If you're here to punish someone, punish me." Nyxara looked at him sharply. "You owe them nothing." "I know," Elias said. "That's why I'm speaking." The envoys reacted with confusion. This was not how lesser species behaved. "You would sacrifice yourself?" the envoy asked. Elias shook his head. "No, I'd argue until you listen." Nyxara felt something unfamiliar tighten in her chest. The meeting ended without resolution. The fleet did not leave. Across the galaxy, rumors spread faster than ships could travel. A human had stood beside the vampire queen and lived. She had chosen him not as food, not as thrall, but as equal voice. Some species were terrified, others were curious. Nyxara felt the hunger stir again, but it was different now. It was not the sharp need to consume. It was a pull toward something she did not yet have words for. Connection. Late one night, Nyxara stood alone on a high platform overlooking a sleeping city. Lights glowed softly. Vehicles moved like fireflies. Humans lived fragile, fleeting lives below her. Elias joined her quietly. "You should rest," he said. "I do not sleep as you do," she replied. They stood in silence for a long moment. "If they attack," Elias said, "we won't survive." Nyxara looked at him. "You know this." "Yes. And you stay?" "Yes." Nyxara reached out not with power but with intent. She let her presence brush against his mind gently. He felt it warm and strange. I could leave, she said. Save myself. Elias nodded. You could. But I will not. For the first time, Nyxara Velshi did not feel like a queen standing above a world. She felt like someone standing beside it. Far beyond Earth, weapons charged and ancient powers debated. On the planet below, humans continued to live, argue, love, and choose. And Nyxara began to understand why hunger alone had never truly satisfied her. The attack did not begin with fire. It began with silence. Above Earth, the ancient fleet stopped transmitting. No warnings, no threats, no demands. Just quiet, heavy stillness that pressed against every sensor and every human nerve. Nyxara felt it immediately. They have decided, she said. Elias stood beside her in the command center, surrounded by humans rushing between stations. Screens showed the alien ships powering systems that bent space itself, weapons that did not simply destroy but erased. They're going to hit us first, Elias said. Yes, Nyxara replied, and they will not aim at me. Elias looked at her sharply. They're targeting Earth. They believe removing humanity removes the problem, she said calmly. They are wrong. Human commanders issued orders, defense platforms activated, old alliances responded, some out of loyalty, some out of fear. None of it felt like enough. Nyxara stepped forward. I will go to them, she said. Elias grabbed her arm before he realized what he was doing. The room froze. No, he said. If you leave now, they'll destroy us anyway. Nyxara looked at his hand on her arm. He quickly released it, embarrassed, but she did not react with anger. They will destroy you if I stay passive, she said. They expect me to either submit or flee. What if you do? Elias asked. Nyxara's eyes glowed faintly. Then they will see something new. She moved to the open hangar where her ship waited. Human engineers stood back as the living vessel unfolded, responding to her presence. Elias followed. If you go alone, he said, you'll die. Nyxara paused. Possibly. That's not acceptable, Elias said. She turned to him slowly. This is my war. No, Elias said firmly. This is ours. Nyxara searched his face, feeling his resolve, not blind courage, not reckless pride, just refusal to abandon. You cannot fight as I do, she said. I know, Elias replied, but we fight differently. Nyxara hesitated. Then she did something no Virelian queen had ever done. She opened her ship. The interior reshaped itself, forming space not just for her but for human operators. Interfaces adjusted, translating instinct into symbols humans could understand. Gasps filled the hangar. You will link with me, Nyxara said. Not through domination, through coordination. Elias nodded once. Let us show them. The ship rose into the sky, breaking through atmosphere in seconds. Human defense fleets followed, small and fragile compared to the ancient armada waiting above. The enemy fleet reacted instantly. Weapons charged. Nyxara did not attack. She broadcast, not a threat, not a demand, a signal, choice. The ancient minds recoiled. They felt it, an unstructured resonance spreading through Nyxara's presence, amplified by human neural networks. Not hunger, not fear, intent. You have built your empires on control, Nyxara's voice echoed across space. You believe order requires submission. The first shots fired. Human ships dodged, scattered, adapted. They did not move in perfect formation. They moved creatively, unexpectedly. Pilots made decisions in seconds without waiting for command. Nyxara moved with them. She did not drain enemy ships. She disrupted them. Cut resonance links, severed command hierarchies. Ancient vessels began to drift, confused, leaderless. Elias watched data scroll past, his hands steady on controls he should not have been able to use. They're panicking, he said. Their systems depend on obedience. Yes, Nyxara replied. They have no answer for disagreement. Enemy commanders tried to focus fire on Nyxara's ship. Human vessels intercepted, taking hits meant for her. Some were destroyed. Some barely survived. Nyxara felt every loss. It hurt. She pushed back not with hunger but with force shaped by human creativity. Energy redirected. Space folded at strange angles. Attacks came from impossible directions. The battle spread across orbit. On Earth, people watched the sky burn and did not look away. Nyxara sensed the shift before anyone else. The ancient fleet was retreating, not defeated, afraid. They had never fought an enemy that refused to obey the rules of power. As the last hostile ship vanished into folded space, silence returned. This time it felt different. The human fleet regrouped. Emergency signals went out. Rescue operations began immediately. Nyxara's ship descended slowly. Elias exhaled for the first time in minutes. "We survived." "Yes," Nyxara said softly, "and now they will adapt." Back on the ground, celebrations did not erupt. There was relief, grief, exhaustion. Humans mourned their losses even as they rebuilt. Nyxara stood among them, no longer distant. News outlets struggled to explain what had happened. The galaxy struggled even more. For the first time, an ancient power had been pushed back without conquest. Because of humans, because of choice. Nyxara felt the hunger again, but it no longer demanded consumption. It demanded protection. Elias joined her outside the command center as the sun rose. "They'll come back," he said. "Yes," Nyxara agreed, "but they will never see you the same way again." Elias looked at the city, scarred but alive. "Neither will we." Nyxara watched humanity move forward despite fear, despite loss, and she understood. This was not a species meant to be ruled. This was a species meant to stand beside gods and teach them how to change. The galaxy did not return to normal after the battle. It could not. News of what happened at Earth spread faster than ships could travel. Stories changed with every retelling, but one truth stayed the same. The vampire queen had fought beside humans, not above them. Ancient fleets had retreated. Power built on fear had failed. That scared everyone. On Earth, life continued, but nothing felt the same. Cities repaired damage. Families mourned lost pilots and soldiers. Children watched the sky more often. Humanity had survived, but survival had come with a cost they could not ignore. Nyxara Velshi remained. She did not retreat into space. She did not claim victory. She walked among humans as reconstruction began, her presence no longer a shadow of terror, but a strange, steady weight. Some humans feared her still. Others admired her. Many did not know what to think. Nyxara accepted all of it. She spent long hours observing humans rebuild. They argued over plans, changed designs halfway through, disagreed loudly, then worked together anyway. No central mind guided them. No absolute authority forced compliance. And yet progress happened. Elias watched her change. He noticed how she no longer stood apart during meetings, how she listened more than she spoke, how she sometimes paused before responding as if weighing something unfamiliar. "You're learning," he said one evening as they stood on a balcony overlooking the city. Nyxara did not deny it. "I am unlearning," she replied. Elias smiled faintly. "That might be harder." Across the stars, the ancient conquered fractured. Some species demanded retaliation, others argued for observation. A few quietly began changing their own structures, afraid that humanity's influence would spread. Nyxara felt the pull of her people. The Virelians were confused. Without her hunger guiding them, their empire stalled. Some clung to old ways, others sensed opportunity. Nyxara knew she could return and enforce control. She chose not to. Instead, she called them to Earth. The arrival of Virelian envoys caused global tension, but no panic. Humans prepared not with submission, but with caution and openness. The meeting was unlike any in galactic history. Nyxara did not sit on a throne. She stood among humans and Virelians alike. "The age of feeding ends," she said calmly. "We will survive differently." Outrage followed, fear, accusations. "How?" her people demanded. "What are we without hunger?" Nyxara looked to Elias briefly, then back to them. "You are more." Humans shared technology, energy systems, cooperative models, not charity but partnership. It was slow, painful, not everyone agreed, but it began. Nyxara felt her power change. It did not weaken, it transformed. She no longer drew strength from fear, but from alignment, from shared intent. She was no longer a queen in the old sense, and that was enough. Months passed. Earth became a place of gathering. Species arrived cautiously, curious about the humans who had changed the balance. Some came to learn, some came to test boundaries, none came to conquer. Elias continued his role, coordinating, mediating, arguing when needed. He aged, he tired, he remained human. Nyxara noticed. Humans were brief sparks compared to her long existence. The thought unsettled her more than hunger ever had. One night, as Earth rotated beneath a field of unfamiliar stars, Nyxara spoke the thought aloud. "You will not last," she said quietly. Elias nodded. "I know." "Does that not frighten you?" "Sometimes," he admitted, "but it also makes things matter." Nyxara felt that truth settle deep within her. When the ancient conquered attempted one final show of force, they found no clear enemy. Humans stood with allies. Virelians stood without chains. Power no longer had a single center to strike. The attack never came. Instead, negotiations did. The galaxy changed not through conquest but through discomfort. Nyxara formally dissolved the Virelian Dominion. Her people chose new paths. Some left, some stayed, all were free. She remained on Earth, not as ruler, not as weapon, as witness. When Elias grew older, slower, she stayed beside him. When he could no longer stand in chambers, others took his place, trained by his example rather than commanded by his authority. Humanity spread not as an empire, but as a presence that forced others to rethink power. Nyxara watched generations rise and fall. She felt grief. She felt pride. She felt something dangerously close to love, though she never named it. The galaxy came to fear humans in a new way, not because they destroyed worlds, but because they changed them. And Nyxara Velshi, once the vampire queen of the stars, stood among them, no longer feeding on life but choosing it, again and again.